Welcome to the Heir Flow podcast. I'm your host, Rickey Thomas, and this is the place where Kingdom heirs go to be informed and inspired. So sit back, relax, and flow with me. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Heir Flow podcast. I'm your host, Rickey Thomas, and today I'm here with another very special guest, Mr. Andario Howard. He is the owner and operator of the Heir Social company, which you correct me if I'm wrong, Dario, but I called it a digital marketing service provider. Would you say that's kind of a good way to put it?
It's exactly what it is.
Okay, well, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you for penciling me in. I know you're a busy man out there getting that money, but I definitely appreciate you taking time to share your story.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you having me. I got a couple podcasts lined up, but I had to make sure this was the first one.
Oh man, I feel special then. I'm getting exclusive on you then, so that's cool. I got the scoop.
The first one. Yes, sir.
All right, that's cool. So, man, I want to go through a few things with you. I want to take some time just to talk about, kind of where you came from, and then, leading up to being a successful entrepreneur and starting to build a brand and an empire. Not only you, but also with your wife, just, building a family empire together, which I think is real dope. So I want to talk through some of this, but, I want people to get to know a little bit about you. So let's talk about that. You're originally from Clarksville, Tennessee, right?
Yeah, Clarksville.
Okay.
Grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee. Here in Murfreesboro now.
Okay. And kind of transitioning, being in Clarksville, obviously you had a pretty strong family structure. How big for you was family growing up and just being around a good family structure?
Man, family was and family is everything. Like you said, I grew up around a huge family. My great grandmother, Big Mama, was what we call her. Off the top of my head, I don't even know how many kids she had, but it's a lot of us. When we get together, it's noticeable. So
okay.
Family is definitely huge for me. Definitely.
And then just, seeing the family, I mean, obviously I know you've got, family on both sides, your mom and your dad, and, just everybody's got their own level of success. What was kind of the motivation, or what inspired you growing up to kind of get to where you are today, family or just in general? What were your inspirations in growing up?
Man, I had a lot of different inspirations. I definitely feel like as a child, I was thinking ahead of my time. I feel like I've always been wise beyond my age. So just growing up and seeing, definitely in Clarksville, we had everything we needed, everything we wanted, but I don't want to say struggle, but just seeing, family not, just going through some of the things that they went through.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely encouraged me. And then a lot of times around, especially in Clarksville, there's just a lot of negativity going on. Everything was negative. Expectations were low.
Okay.
Just me honestly going to school and not even graduating, just going to school was an accomplishment. So
yeah,
that was one of my motivating factors. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, like I said, I'm here in Murfreesboro. My family here. My father's been successful in the things that he's done. I've been around a lot of successful people. So that definitely drives me. I want to make sure that I'm, not only following in those footsteps, but creating my own path and just doing things that, go ahead.
I was going to say, and I've seen, understanding, because I've had some of that. You see family members or just seen situations where you come from, and it's like, I don't want to end up, a statistic or, end up like this. So I have, a little bit of motivation to just get out, Yeah. And then on the flip side, you got to see it from your dad and him transitioning and really transforming and turning around himself and becoming successful in business, real estate, ministry, and everything that he does. So, you got examples on both sides, which is good, to have that, because, it keeps you grounded, but it also gives you it sets a bar for you to kind of strive to hit and exceed. And like you said, you definitely do things your own way. but not in a bad way. You know, you make your own path, but you follow instruction. You know, you listen to guidance, and I've seen that, which is good. And, you know, a lot of young folks need to hear that. You know, you can have your own way, but you listen to wisdom, and then you take that and you kind of create your own path from that. So that's real good.
Yeah, and I was just saying, as far as wise beyond my ages, I know I got to a certain point in high school. You know, you're a young man, you start smelling yourself, as y'all like to say.
Right.
You know, and there's definitely, it's easy to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think as a sophomore, I made that decision to, you know, not to move from Clarksville to Murfreesboro to live with my dad.
Okay.
Just because of course, my mom did a great job, not saying anything. She worked hard. She gave us everything we wanted. But as a young man, I needed a male figure
That
in my
father
life
figure.
constantly. You know,
Yeah.
my dad is always there, but just being in a different environment, because I felt like if it wasn't for that, I mean, no telling where I would have been. You know.
Right. And that's key. You know, the fact that you realize that for yourself. You know, that decision wasn't made for you. You said to yourself, I need to be in a different environment. I need my dad. I need that male role model. And it wasn't because your mom, you know, your mom did what she did everything possible to make sure you were good. So it wasn't that in it, but it's just something about the father's love, a father's care, and just the father's guidance, especially when you get to a certain age, that can help, you know, propel you to the place where you need to be. So that was definitely a wise decision, because a lot of folks won't do that. They just want to stay where they at. Like, I ain't trying to change and go to a different environment.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an easy decision, but like I said, it was the mature decision.
Yeah.
And, let's say I graduated high school early, so I was here for a year and a half, and I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, he did what a father's supposed to do, keep me in line. You know, just making sure I was doing what I was supposed to. I definitely didn't enjoy it then, but I appreciated it, and I definitely appreciate it now.
Right. And, you know, kind of, you know, going into, you know, kind of developing your own family, you know, married, it's been about what, a year and a half, almost 2 years now?
Yeah, we'll be 2 years in January 2022.
Okay. So almost 2 years in, guys expecting a little baby girl. So congrats on that again.
Thank you.
But I know that, you know, some of the stuff that you've been learning, you know, being around your mom and then being around your dad and, you know, the family structures there. I know you have a lot of wisdom to pull from between yourself and your wife, Danielle, just to make sure that this child is going to have the best environment possible. So that's definitely a good thing.
Yes.
And she's going to be spoiled. So
I'm already in trouble. She's not even, you know, out the womb yet, man. I'm doing anything I can for her.
Them girls will get you every time. I don't care what it is or how mad they make you. They just look at you a certain way. You be like, all right. So yeah, be prepared, man.
I'm in trouble.
You are, but it's a beautiful thing, man. The boys are good too, but it's something about that father and daughter thing, man. It's just it's crazy. So be ready. What's that?
So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah. Kids in general. I mean, family, and I guess growing up in a big family, I guess, you know, is that one of the motivational things that got you to say, you know, I want to get married, have my own family, and do this? Because a lot of people don't want to have that. They just want to be to themselves and make money and, you know, be in that kind of structure, feel locked down, so to speak.
Yeah, I definitely went through that phase where I wasn't thinking about marriage, but I've always, like I said, I was wise beyond my age as far as thinking. I've always said I wanted to be married and have a child by 30. But I definitely had a stage in my mid-20s where I wasn't thinking about marriage. I was trying to enjoy life.
It
definitely changed for me, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
But that's good. I mean, the thing is, you waited till you were ready, you know, and you found your bride and y'all doing the thing the right way. So, you know, it wasn't forced. You know, you definitely took it to a place where you ready, she's ready, y'all doing it, as well as doing your business is another thing. So, you know, that's definitely good. So, you know, family structure was good, and education, you know, how important was education for you?
It was big for me. Like I said, I think I'm a pretty intelligent young man. So I always prided myself on that. I did have some friends in school who were pretty smart, you know, so they make good grades. So I'm competitive as well.
Okay.
I want to make sure my grades were in order. But yeah, education is a big part of it. Like I said, I pretty much went through high school making A's and B's. Graduated with my master's with a 3.8 GPA. So.
Okay.
Yeah, education is definitely
Yeah,
at the
so
top
you
of the list.
definitely a smart man. So you got your undergrad at UT. What was your degree in? And that's UT Knoxville. So what was your degree in there?
Yes, I have my undergrad in business administration and sports marketing.
Okay. All right, sports marketing. So were you looking to possibly go into being an agent or something at some point?
That was the goal originally.
Okay.
I wanted to be a sport agent from middle school up until high school. I played sports, so I definitely wanted to get into it at some level. I had an injury in high school, so I wasn't able to continue playing sports.
Okay.
But I still wanted to be a part of it. So the agency thing was been at the forefront forever. Then I got a little older, and I didn't want to keep going to school. I was
Okay.
considering law school,
Uh,
but after going through undergrad and grad school, like, man, it's a wrap for right now.
okay.
And also just seeing how that game is played, not without getting into detail, man. It's being a sports agent, you got to do a lot of things that I don't really condone. Well,
Yeah.
you don't have to, but that's how a lot of people become successful. So
Right.
I just had to step away from that. Now I just enjoy sports as a spectator.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you gotta be true to yourself, and you felt like it would be you would have to conflict who you are to be successful. Then that's definitely a good way to say I need to look at something else. You got your master's from Middle Tennessee State University, and what was that in?
I got my MBA, so it's business
MBA.
administration,
Okay, all right,
concentration in marketing.
okay. So, that's a good segue into, it's talking about, you graduated from school now, before you started your business, you had a couple of jobs, obviously worked at different places. You had a career, a career job for a while, because I think you were working downtown Nashville for a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, I was working with it was a pretty big corporation down in Nashville, and it
Okay.
was cool. It just wasn't for me.
Okay.
I've been working since I mean, sound like an old man, but I've been working since I was 15, 16.
Okay.
Man, I've done some jobs. Of course, I started working at a summer camp, but I worked at a processing plant, so butchering animals. That was crazy in itself. I worked in them UPS trucks,
Yeah.
factories in the summertime at school. I didn't want to keep doing that, so in college, I've always had at least two jobs. So I'm a hard worker, but now I'm just transitioning into working smarter at this point.
And that's good, because you have some people who've never even experienced that hands-on work, getting out, like you said, working UPS, jumping on trucks. I did that at FedEx for a year and a half, and I'm like, man, that was crazy work, loading trucks, and it's it ain't no air conditioning, and it's not any heat. So in the wintertime it's freezing, and in the summertime it's burning up in there. But it taught me something. I think, like I said, it motivated me to, like, okay, I got to keep pressing, because I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And there's nothing wrong with people who do it, but I just knew it wasn't for me. I'm like, but I knew I could do it if I had to. If push come to shove and I had to get down and get out there and get to my hands and work, I was willing to do it. So that's good that you had that experience young, to realize it wasn't for you.
I didn't want to do none of it, but like you said, I had to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just part of my success story.
Yes, sir. So we transitioning, your degree, you like, I'm tired of working 9 to 5 so everybody else, and I want to get into starting my own company. Like, what inspired you to start Fresh Heir Social?
So I've always I've always wanted to work for myself. It changed, of course, as a young man, it changed as to what I wanted to do. So I actually got into social media accidentally, I would say. I was assisting one of the guests on your show, Edward Ellsworth, Furniture.
Okay. Okay.
I came up to him one day just asking if I could do a video for him, because at this point I was in school and I was kind of getting into videography and editing. So he gave me the green light. I created a video for him. And then he asked me to do another one for another setup they had going on. And so that started. And then eventually, at one time, he asked me if I could go in and post it for him, because he wasn't able to. So he's like, hey, if I add you to this, can you post this for me? So that became a thing. And then after talking to him and talking to some other people, that turned into me, doing that from a contractual standpoint for him. And then the clientele just started rolling in from a social media standpoint, and then it went into just exploring more into the digital space because it's way more than just digital. I mean, than social media.
Right.
So just exploring those options, and the ball just kept rolling, and here we are today and running a full scale digital marketing agency.
So with that, obviously you got, and that's good that you went out and you said, look, let me do this for you. Let me do a video. I'm just going to do it free of charge. I want to, make it, get it out there, let you see what I can do, and kind of use you, provide just so what my services can do. But since then, have you done any formal training or, gone to any kind of school or classes around, digital marketing and things like that?
Yes, I've done a little bit of all of it. I was going about a year strong without any training, just going online and doing the research myself. But at this point, I've obtained several different certifications. I've been through a lot of different classes, going into webinars and seminars and things like that to kind of hone my craft, hone my skills a little bit more, and like I said, get to where I am today.
Yeah, and I know, one thing that I have, learned, and you shared this, is that you took a master class in Florida, right?
Yeah, so I went to a mastermind. It wasn't specific for what I'm doing, but
right.
It was just kind of helping us, showing us how to scale our business using digital marketing.
Right. And I bring that up because it's important to tell people that you need to also be able to invest in yourself. Because for you, this was a pretty big investment, right?
Man, it was the biggest investment I've made, but then 2 months later, I made an even bigger investment. So you definitely have to invest in yourself to get what you want. Putting that money into learning and perfecting the craft is big. The first 4 months this year, I spent $20,000.
Wow.
Learning all of this stuff.
See, some people think like, man, I just get on there, like you said, I can just YouTube some stuff and I can dig in and I'm good. And
no.
And that's, you can get some level of success, a very small scale, but like you said, you realize you had to keep honing your craft. And for some people to hear that, like, man, you spent $20,000, just to take some classes, and then the first thing is going to be, well, what's the return on the investment, but for you, it's getting the knowledge, and that's going to grow exponentially. Your return is going to be great because of that. It's you're probably already starting to see some of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's coming in. That 20,000 definitely wasn't easy.
Right.
The mastermind I went to, that was a big investment for me. I definitely wanted to do it. But once I got an email and got invited to it, my wife definitely pushed me. She pushed me in that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just wait for the next one. And she was like, no, we going today. So I got an email Tuesday that somebody had dropped out because they were only letting a certain amount of people in. We got an email Tuesday. It was a snowstorm here and everything. We stuck in the house. And he actually hit me on Instagram, the guy, and he said, hey, somebody dropped out due to a storm. Are you able to make it to Florida by tomorrow? So in my mind, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna make that one. My wife, no hesitation. Like, before I even got that out good, she's like, okay, here's the plane tickets. This is that. I ain't even told you the price yet. She was like, no, let's do it. Like, she believed in me at that level. She's not even asking questions. She's just saying, do it.
Yeah.
So I get to Miami. Of course, it's what I expected. First of all, on paper, I wasn't even supposed to be in the room. This class was for persons who making 100,000 a month, have hundreds of thousands of followers, and the mastermind was just showing them how to scale their business even higher. So I definitely, in February, I definitely don't have hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm not making $100,000 a month yet.
Right.
I will be, but it's coming. But,
yes, sir.
So just being in that environment, and he was promoting it like that on his stuff. Like, these are criteria, but I just went ahead and applied. And I'm like, it's not, it don't cost nothing to apply. So
no, it don't. And you got chosen, which that's how it's God ordained, and your wife, like any good woman, they gonna keep pushing you to be great, and that's I know that feeling too, because sometimes it's like, man, I ain't trying to do all that, and you sometimes you hear that price and you're like, man, I really ain't trying to do that right now, but it lined up for you, and then to be on the plane, and a few days later and, down in Miami, you learning this stuff, you took a risk, but you betting on yourself, and you can't lose when you bet on yourself, especially when you believe that what you're going to get out of it is going to be something that's going to help take you to another level. So that's really good to hear that part, because a lot of people, again, like I say, I talk to a lot of people who talk about starting businesses and they try to find a cookie cutter way to do it, the quick way, and not having to spend any money on anything, materials and stuff. And you can, like I say, you can do some things like that at a small scale, but if you're trying to be serious and really compete out there in the marketplace, you got to know what you're doing. And so I commend you on taking that chance, taking that jump, like Steve Harvey said, investing in yourself. Because $20,000, people won't even, people don't even want to spend $20,000 in a couple of years of investing in their company,
Yeah.
And you doing that at the start of the year.
Yeah, I didn't think I would, but like I say, you have to invest in yourself, and you got to just push yourself. Because I told you it was a snowstorm here. There was no flights going out of Nashville, so we were just trying to figure out. So we ended up driving to Atlanta and then flying to Miami.
So y'all drove through a snowstorm.
Yeah, and to get to
get to the airport to catch the flight.
Yes, and then it was still a snowstorm while we was there. Like I said, I was willing to drive to Miami because that's how much I wanted to get to it. So I know it was an exclusive mastermind. It was a small amount of people, and I just wanted to be in that room.
Right.
So even the knowledge that I got from that was crazy. Like I'm implementing a lot of that stuff now, and I'm seeing the benefit of it. But just being in that room with people my age that are doing the things that they're doing,
right?
It definitely was. That changed my life. Like, as you see people online doing stuff, but to actually be in the room with people that I'm looking at to follow them online, they're in the same room with me learning, the same stuff.
Right.
Just being able to conversate, network. So a lot of those people that I was just looking at, like, this is an example. We're, I wouldn't say friends, but we're associates now. So there's some of them I can actually reach out to.
Right.
So like I said, just being in that room and then just seeing people. You had 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds that are doing crazy numbers each month. So it made it reachable. It made it an attainable goal for me because
you were rubbing elbows with them. You were in the same space, soaking up the same knowledge, like you said, and then you saw different age groups. People try to put ages on success and like, well, you can't do it. I mean, I see people of all age groups being successful on social media. It's 10-year-olds that are out there, killing it. Just because they got the right ideas and they get the right people pushing them, to be successful. There's people in their senior years that are doing successful things. So that's good it's good to hear that. And, just knowing that you were willing to drive in the snowstorm to get to that place, that shows how much you want your business to be successful. And, I talk to different people that have businesses and, some people ask them, why do they charge what they charge? But when you hear a story like this is why, it costs the amount it costs for you to do your services for them, because you're investing in yourself to make your business successful so that their business can be successful.
Right.
So, you can't skimp that. You can't skimp the cost. You didn't skip the cost with your learning. You
right.
20, spending 20,000 here, whatever there, that's a lot of money, and that has to, but that's why you're worth what you're worth. And that's why you're growing the way you're growing. So that's a good thing, man.
Yes, sir.
Definitely like to hearing that. So, one of the things I want to ask, is, since you kind of shifted from, you've been shifted, but you shifted out of corporate America, you shifted into really focusing on your business. What have you seen has been kind of a shift in your priorities just in life in general right now, as being an entrepreneur, family man, and just, going from that 9 to 5 to now you are a business owner? Have you seen like a major shift in priorities and just how you go about your daily walk with just anything?
Yeah, so I approach every day goal oriented, which is not necessarily something I did in corporate. I knew what I had to do when I got there. I got it done. I got a paycheck.
Right.
I was comfortable there.
Right.
So every day I wake up with certain goals in mind, and I just go hard. Yeah, I told you before we got on this call, I've been running all day, man. I've been at it since 8 o'clock this morning, 8 a.m. And said so we're almost at what, 12 hours.
Yeah,
And then
you
when we get off
approaching
of
that
here,
time.
I'm probably gonna go back into it. But yeah, man, and then of course having this wife and this child on the way, man, it just shifted 100% more. Like I'm already working myself, but now I'm like, man, I gotta go even harder. But now I'm putting things in place so I don't have to work as much. I'm putting
Right.
systems in place. Part of that 20 grand that I told you I spent is just me putting systems in place. So within the next month or so, I'll be able to have a lot of this stuff on automation.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a key because my time is you can't put a price on time, and I definitely want to enjoy all the time that I have.
Right. And that's a great point you mentioned, is being able to, you're starting and you're grinding right now to get to a place to where you can automate it, most of the things, and you can be on the beach somewhere and, just check in a couple of things, and you can be working and enjoying your family, doing what you want to do and still monitoring your business. And it's almost getting to a place that you still got to operate it. It's not totally passive, but you get flexibility in that. But you've got to build that, and it takes some time. But once you get it right, now it's just tweaking things here and there to continue to grow it. And I love what you said about approaching things from a goal-oriented perspective and kind of shifting that from, corporate America. Because it's true, you work for somebody, you go in there, usually what your assignments are, what you have going on, and your day is kind of spent tackling those things. And then that you kind of have that structure there. When you're working on your own, you have to set goals each day, otherwise you won't put yourself in a position to move forward. So if you just wake up today and say, all right, well, what I'm gonna do today for my business, if you don't have anything written down, if you don't have goals in mind, then it's going to take you forever to set things up. It's going to take you forever to scale it to get to where you need it to be. So, and it doesn't even have to be business. You should always have goals of what you want to accomplish each day. So the fact that you got to that point, and you're really pushing yourself now to build something and a structure that's automated, that you can scale your business and be able to spend time with family. That's the next stage. And that's really, making money on autopilot, which is where everybody wants to be, but you got to establish that foundation. So that's good.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things that, I want to talk about is, as you've, started a business and you've been transitioning, you've been doing it for a little bit now, what's one of the things that you would look back at and say, I would have done this a little bit differently from the beginning had I known what I know now?
I would have went into it a little bit more prepared than what I was.
Okay.
Like I said, I had the knowledge, I had everything, but just putting myself more in an advantage, because when I went full time, I had to hit the ground running, or I would have been in trouble financially.
Right.
So just giving myself that breathing room to do that, maybe have more money up front to invest into it. That definitely was the biggest thing.
Okay. And that's, it's funny you say that, because a lot of times people will be like, man, it's never a good time. Sometimes people say, what, it's never a good time to do it. But
Yeah.
Obviously I think it probably motivated you even more, like you said, because you needed that cash flow. You couldn't sit around on your hands and knowing you got this check over here that you still kind of getting,
Right.
because I'll tell you, to be honest, I've had that, that challenge right now with just the businesses and things that, we work on. It's like, if I decide today that I don't want to do anything else, with the business, I don't want to work on it, well, I know I still have that check as a crutch. I know I'm going to get paid every 2 weeks this amount. So, whether or not I do anything for the business to try to transition us, I know I still have a check coming in. So what you did, and just saying cold turkey, I'm just going to go ahead and get started, again, I commend you for that, because a lot of people won't do that, and that's what I think stalls out a lot of people's opportunities from really getting their business to the next place, is because they don't just jump into it. So
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't an easy decision. It was definitely a scary decision. I'll be honest with you.
yeah.
Because it was 2 years ago. I said, all right, at the end of the year, I'm working for myself.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the year came, I was in the same position, so I had to go another year. But this second time around, I verbally communicated it with, of course, my wife, and then other persons that I confide in. Like, at the end of this year, I'm going full time. To start 2021. So I had to do it. Then I also just had to remove that safety net. The same way you just said, you get a check every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So having that, knowing the check coming in, I'm not gonna go as hard on my business because I know I'm gonna do it when I have the time to.
Right.
I got a check coming in, I got everything's taken care of financially. So I'm just taking my time with it. So I had to remove that safety net. And one of my favorite lines from Jay-Z, it's one of my mantras is I had to get off the boat so I could walk on water.
Yes, sir. Diamonds Are Forever remix.
Man, so it's literally like that's one of my mantras. So I had to pull that safety net, and like I said, it's definitely been some times. And still, I'm kind of like, man, I got to do this, I got to do that. But I'm naturally just somebody who likes to work. So if I'm not where I think I should be right now, my mind to go to, well, let me go get a part-time until it pop off. Let me do this until it pop off. So I had to talk myself down off that ledge a few times. Like I said, thankfully I'm now in a position, where it worked out for me. But it definitely wasn't all peaches and cream.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's you said it, and it's funny you said it because that's one of my favorite verses of all time of Jay-Z, because he said that, then he said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, so it's a lot that you're gonna package on that one, and I ain't gonna go into that, but you do have to get off the boat, walk on water, to see and show the faith that you have in yourself, and just belief that you're doing this. This is something that you prayed about, you talked to God about, something that you've had a desire to do, and you've seen doors open for you. So sometimes people miss that opportunity, they miss that blessing because they don't walk in faith. And that's what getting off the boat is doing, to say, I'm gonna walk on water, I ain't looking down, I ain't looking back. Because it's easy to step back and be like, man, you know what, I can get a little part-time hustle, have a little money here for that rainy day fund, just in case, checks don't come in. But that rainy day fund and that part-time turns into a full-time, and you spending more time working for somebody else, instead of working on your business. Which, again, I'm not saying, if you got to do that to take care of business, do what you got to do. But, don't lose that focus and that grind. That should push you even harder. So that's good, man. That's good. It's funny you said that line, because I promise you, I listen to that song every so often, and it always hit me the same time, All right. So, we talked about some of the things you do differently, some of the challenges, now you've got somebody that's in front of you, or somebody that comes to you and asks you, they want to talk to you about being an entrepreneur and just what some of the things you dealt with starting off. What advice would you give to someone who says they want to become an entrepreneur? You've dropped some little gems in here so far, but if somebody came to you and said, man, look, I just want to talk to you about becoming an entrepreneur, like, tell me, what should I do? Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah. Well, you definitely, obviously the first thing is, what are you going to do? Because a lot of people say, I want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't really know what it is they're doing. They want to be a serial entrepreneur, which some persons have, gained success with that, but I feel like you have to hone in on something specifically.
Right.
And then once you know what it is that you want to do, what it is you're good at, just go out and just keep studying it. I consider myself a lifetime student. I'm always trying to learn how to better my craft.
Yes.
So I think you have to go in it with that mentality. Just keep putting in that work, and then sometimes when you have to do stuff for free, like I know your value is worth a lot, but if you're trying to build up that reputation, build the rapport with people, you have to be willing to do certain things. So you can't go into it paying. I can't go into it paying somebody who's been doing this, or charging the same as somebody who's been doing this for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
They have a different value that they're bringing to the table. So
right.
You definitely have to stay in your lane. So you can't look at what other people are doing and try to compare yourself to that and try to keep up with them. But it's a process. Just keep learning. Like I said, go into it. like I said, prepare to go into it. So a lot of people have different ways that they do it. I kind of did it the unorthodox way. I just jumped in, but I definitely would recommend, something set aside, because just 9 times out of 10, it's not going your business is not going to pop off instantly.
Right.
So just have something, be prepared in that way, and then also be prepared for rejection.
Right. That's big right there. Prepare for rejection, because it's gonna happen.
That's a big thing for me, man. Because of course, in my field, initially, I have to talk to people to get them on board with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And one, I mean, I'm not a big talker, so I just kind of stayed to myself. So I had to get out of my comfort zone with that,
right?
And just to be able to really convince people or to sell people on what it is that I can offer for them, offer for their business. But you get a lot of no's with that, and you can't let that kill your confidence, because it can if you allow it to.
Right. Well, like I said, you got to get off the boat. You had to get off the boat from talking. Sometimes that's hard, and I'm like that too. I don't like going to people, and that fear of rejection kind of gets you. It's like, man, I don't want to hear a no, and you get kind of down on yourself. So I know that experience, and that's something that you definitely have to get through to be successful, because you're going to hear no's, and you're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to explain what your vision is and what you're doing. And, sometimes hearing it from you, they people can hear your heart, about what you're trying to do. And then it can tell if you've done the research and you've done the studying and all that stuff. They can kind of tell that you know what you're talking about, and then you can show them, and people, that's how you can get people to really buy into you based off of that. So it's definitely good.
And then you have to go in with their mindset. Well, what I say, it has to work, or it has to work. So I really don't have a plan B.
Right.
So,
that's good.
I'm walking by faith, and I'm confident in what it is I'm doing. So I don't have a plan B, because that means I have a thought that what I'm doing is not going to work.
Right. Yeah, you putting a plan to fail in. If you say, here's the plan B, like, no, we're going to make this work, and this is why. And that's where the preparation and all that stuff builds up to make sure that it's not, you won't fail. And I don't look at, I've changed my language from, failing to, saying, people say I take an L, you lost, but it's not a loss, it's a lesson, I'm taking lessons. Mm-hmm. It's everything is a lesson, to help you come back and be stronger. So that's definitely good. Okay.
Sure.
Anything else on that?
Now we can keep going, but I'm gonna chill out.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. That's real good. So, for you and kind of looking, if you want to vision cast out and say, this is where I want things to be in the future. What does success ultimately look like for Andario Howard?
Man, success is just freedom. So me being able to, wake up when I want to, even though I'm an early riser already. Mm-hmm. Me just waking up and looking at my notifications of income coming in while I was asleep.
Yeah.
That's definitely a sign of success. Just the freedom to do what it is that I desire to do. So if I want to go to Miami tomorrow, I'm able to do that without trying to, move money around or checking to make sure I'm available to do that. So that definitely is a sign of success for me. Mm. And just being able to do what it is I desire to do for everybody around me.
Yeah.
I've grown up around a family of givers, a church family of givers, and I'm a big giver as well, but I definitely want to go higher in my giving. So just being able to do for other people what I want to do for them, not what they try to pressure me into doing or what people think I should be doing, but what I want to do for them. So and like I said, just being able to enjoy time with my wife and my little girl and whatever, however many other children come along in the next few years, for just having that freedom.
Yeah. And that's good, because that, freedom and it's not just about money. It's the freedom. When you're a creator, it gives you the ability to do different things, like you said, and you touched upon it. I'm glad you did, about being a giver, because people don't understand that all the success that you've been seeing, all the things that you've been doing, and the opportunities that's come from has been from, a lot of that's been from the seed that you guys have sown, that you and your wife sown together, people don't realize that, I mean, you guys, when we talk about, material things, and that's not, some people use that as a status for success, but you guys speak that you want something, in the vehicles that you guys have called out, you guys have them. But at the same time, people don't realize that you guys have also sold a debt-free vehicle to a young lady, that's going to college. That's big, at the age that you are. And then, to be able to get a seed in return from that, and you're doing it because you have a giving heart. And that's part of being successful. And that's why your business is going to continue to be successful. You guys are going to be successful, going forward, is because you have that heart for giving. And that's why, money will continue to come to you. You are a money magnet. So, all that stuff is going to come to you, not just the financial things, but, the mental, physical, right. All of that stuff will come to you. So, giving is definitely a big part. Yeah, being in that environment of givers and seeing how that's helped you, we can talk about it. We talked about it before. I've talked about it before, just being around, your father and this, the church family and everything, and just seeing how giving has propelled people who truly have it in their heart to do it. And God provides them with the ability to do it, gives them the seed to the sower, and how they've done it, and then seeing their life transition in so many ways. And again, it's not just money, but that's part of being an heir. So when you start talking about Fresh Heir Social, you talk about Heir Flow podcast, Billion Heir Flow, is that heir, is that the promises that you get the blessing of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so, that's what we're about. So that's good, man. That's definitely good. I'd love to hear that. So we kind of talk, I guess we kind of touched upon that, what success looked like. So I was going to ask you, what do you enjoy most about starting your own company? I think part of that is probably the freedom. Is there anything else that you can probably add to that?
The process.
Okay.
Man, I just enjoy the process of, I always like a challenge. I'm always pushing myself to learn something different. So I went into starting my own business with one thought process of how it goes. But just in this time that I've started, that thought has shifted so many times.
Right.
And I had to take a step back because I'm so hard on myself and own it. Like, I got to get to this point that I had to step back and just enjoy the process.
Yeah.
I had to reflect on, look at where I was when I first made the statement that I wanted to work for myself to where I am now. Look at all of the connections that I made. Look at all the times where I pushed myself, and now I'm that's opened up doors for me. So just experiencing the process and enjoying the process and growing from it is definitely a satisfying feeling.
Yeah, and process. Yeah, but everything has a process, and I think it's good that you mentioned that. That's one of the things that you enjoy, because with the success it comes challenges, but from those challenges, it helps you to grow and be a better person, individually and even collectively within your business. So I'm sure you've learned things in the process of running your business, some of the mistakes that you may have made, but again, it wasn't a loss. It was it was a learning experience, and you take that and you just use that to motivate you to strive to go even higher. So that's real good, and I think that's, starting a business is not easy. And I think some people just figure out that, or they think it's something you just wake up today, I go go online and get a license, business license, and I just get out there and start doing something, to say I have a business. And yeah, there are some ways that you can do things like that and it's easy, but that doesn't mean success, and that process of building it from scratch, seeing it come from an infant to being, where you're at now. And your business hasn't even reached adulthood and you've been successful. So, you're still kind of nurturing that thing and building it to be where it's going to, be able to do its own thing without you even having to touch it much, which is going to be a beautiful thing, kind of what we touched on before. So, in that process, because you've been doing the business for how long? How long has Fresh Heir Social been out?
Fresh Heir Social has been out roughly 2 years, but I've been going at it full time since January of this year, 2021.
Okay. So in that time frame, obviously, well, somewhere in that time of you starting it over the past couple of years and really doing it full time, we've been in this pandemic. How do you feel like the pandemic has helped your business, or has it kind of challenged it in a way?
A little bit of both. I say it helped me in the standpoint I had to get creative on how I was going to continue working with people. It definitely hurt because I had a few contracts, and when the pandemic hit, persons aren't able to, continue those contracts. So we had to terminate them or just come to, work through those in different ways. So that definitely that hurt my business. But like I said, I had to be creative and figure out how to go get it another way.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do want credit. Of course, last year I was working at the church doing the media there. So just learning how to be creative in that space allowed me to kind of take some of those things that I've learned and put them into my own business. So just like I said, just always studying and constantly trying to figure things out. So it's a lot of money to be made during the pandemic, and a lot of the stuff I do is online. So
yeah,
people are stuck in the house now, so they're going to be online more than normal. So
yeah, and I've read some statistics about businesses starting, and over the course of the past year, there's been more businesses that have been started in the United States than ever before. And it's not a coincidence, and most of them are online or something that people can do utilizing on the online space, mostly in social media in that area for the primary points of their business. So from that means there's a lot more customers out there, a lot more ways to build. So I can definitely see that being a growth point. I've heard a lot of people that say they've had success through the pandemic just because they've thought about how to be creative in what they do and in that space. And definitely for what you do, it's definitely something that's going to help propel people. So I think you'll continue to see that. I mean, even with the pandemic sort of easing up and coming back, I think people have gotten a taste of what it feels like to be remote and work from home or start businesses, and they're really changing their mindset to the traditional values and methods of how people work. So seeing that, I think it's going to open up more opportunities for somebody like you that's doing digital marketing, kind of a digital marketing service provider, to really take your business to another place, because there's going to be a lot more businesses out there that need what you've put out there, to need the training and stuff, the knowledge that you've gained over the years to be successful. So I definitely think that's something that's going to help grow you even more.
Yeah, definitely. And just to go back, you talking about the pandemic helped my business. Just take it away from the business. My wife and I definitely prospered during the pandemic. So I started my business right at the start of the pandemic, which was crazy. A lot of people were panicking. I had my moment where I'm like, I need to just hold off. I kept pushing, and during the pandemic, we have a new home. We have 2 brand new vehicles.
Yeah.
Like I said, my business is doing well. She started her business; it's doing well. So we've definitely been prospering. We gave more than we ever have.
Yeah. And that's good, right? Just right there. So let's just touch upon that. So you gave more than you ever have, and you prospered more than you ever have at this point during the pandemic. People don't understand the power of a seed. And again, it's not just money. They sold a vehicle, but they sold their time to the ministry. So they're out there, he's using his talent and all his skill sets, to use that to promote the kingdom. So, it's not just, I'm giving money and walking away. There's time and talent and treasure that's being spent on this. And you are a sower. Both of you guys are sowers. So that's just the fruit of the seed that you've sown. And that's what, I try to get people understand. That's living like an heir, because you understand that, your blessing and everything that you get is from the power of that seed. And then you just keep doing that and keep knowing that you're going to get a harvest from it. So, there is no downtime. There isn't a pandemic for the believer is really a time for us to grow and be even bigger than what we were before. We should be prospering in this time. And that's why you guys are doing that, because of the mentality that you took, that, by faith, we know that all of these things that we've learned over the years, is now it's time to put them to work, and you see them working. So the fruit is there.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to make it be known, like, I just listed some of the stuff that we've been able to do, but that didn't come without toil,
Yeah.
I say to it just from a thought process.
Right.
Even from the vehicles, I was holding on. I had a Chevy Trailblazer. I loved it. Had the little 20s on there. You couldn't tell me nothing, but I know we had a special service last year, and of course my dad came to me like, man, you just need to go ahead and get another car. Don't worry about payments. He was kind of flowing, so told me to go look. So I went to the lot, and I seen the Mercedes that I like, and I purchased it. It was stretching me at that time, but literally 2 days later, I got a contract, that was going to pay for that. So I wasn't coming out of pocket paying, the note on that Mercedes.
Yeah.
And that's just one instance, but it's been like that with everything. It's like you have a little hesitation, but God is just pushing you out there. He's using people to push you out there. And every time that we've taken that leap, we've seen the fruit from it. And as far as the giving, I'm a giver, but my wife is a huge giver. So she definitely pushed me in that area. Literally every time something came up where a seed was called, she texted me, we need to give it. I'm like, slow down. Slow down. You weren't talking to us this time.
Yeah.
Just being obedient to that, not being, just being open to knowing she hears from God. So
yeah.
I felt confident anytime that she, made those kind of statements. I'm like, well, a lot of times I didn't do it. Honestly, I didn't with 100% cheerful heart. But I'm like, he said do it, I'm gonna do it. So
right.
We've definitely seen the fruit of that labor. But I was just saying that to encourage persons that just because I'm telling you that we did it, it didn't come without any warfare or any hesitations with it.
Oh yeah, the minute you open your mouth to say this is what I'm going to do, this is what I believe in, and you try to do anything by faith, you are going to receive attacks. None of this that we're talking about, none of the success that we speak about comes without an attack. There's always going to be an opposite force that's going to try to stop you from reaching your destiny and your goal. But the key thing is, even through some of the fear that you felt, you still move forward. And a lot of people quit right before that breakthrough happens, and they miss out or they delay. The blessing is there, the blessing is there. It's just, when are you going to get the revelation that is yours to get? Just like that, that's like that vehicle, you got a word from the prophet, your father, and he said this, go out there and do it. You went and found it. And then next thing you know, you got a contract that's paying for the vehicle. So, God is increasing you because of your faith and because of your obedience to hear and know. But the other part is, and you trust, you have a circle of people that you trust when they tell you something, to believe that and bank on it and then move. You got your wife, you got your father, there's others that are helping to keep you balanced and keep you moving forward, so you don't get to a place of sitting in fear. Because once you get in that fear part, that's tough to get out of. You start getting that poverty mindset. You're like, man, I can put some new tires on that Trailblazer, and I can, shine them rims up a little bit, get some new speakers in it, and we can keep rolling this for a minute, So that's good. That's good to hear about that, man. So, just kind of leaving it out there for the ending part, is there anything new that you got in the works for your business? Anything that you can share? You just kind of, just trying to keep scaling it to get to a bigger place and just get focusing on the automation part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scaling. I'm just going, it's growing. I'm bringing in persons to assist, bringing in a team.
Okay.
I already have some persons that are, working with me that are, they're experts in what they do. So just continuing to build that team. I'm continuing to, like I said, put those automations in place so I don't want to be hands off completely, but just, just making sure I'm not, overworking myself and stressing myself out, trying to keep up with the demand. But yeah,
right.
Man, we're definitely growing, doing numbers.
Okay.
We'll continue doing numbers, and they said just keep growing. I just recently, like I said, early in the show, I told you spent about 20K thus far. About 15 of that was just doing putting the system in place. I got the mentors. I'm on coaching calls throughout the week. They're building these systems, for me, helping me connect with the right people to make them run efficiently. So, Yeah, man. I'm just growing. We're gonna keep pushing.
That's what's up, man. I mean, but you're a creator, and there's it's better to be a creator than a consumer. We all consume stuff, but if you spend all your time consuming, you'll never get to a place of wealth, true wealth and freedom that you're seeking, and what you should seek as an heir. You should seek freedom, and be able to not just sit around all day doing nothing, but continue to create things that make life better for not just yourself and your family, but for people who are hiring you for business, because that's how you get to that place of financial freedom, get to that place of, I can spend time with my family. I'm not required to make the business work. You're still hands on, but, I'm not a bottleneck for anything. The business can still move on without me, having to be there day to day, and I'm just, checking things here and there to make sure all is well and keep it moving. So that's definitely a good thing, man. I'm definitely proud of your success. I know you guys are going to continue to keep killing it out there. I want to take some time and just let you kind of talk, about how we can get in touch with you if people are interested in digital marketing services from Fresh Heir Social. What's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, so you can reach me. Best way is gonna be go to the website freshairsocial.com. That's fresh FRESH air HEIR social SOCIAL.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Andario Howard. Facebook is Fresh Heir Social. Like I said, we're a digital marketing agency. We specialize with working with we specialize with e-commerce stores who don't currently have a system that predictably and consistently generates new sales. We put a system in place to do that on autopilot, not only for e-com, but any business that's looking for lead generation or increase in traffic, website visits. Just hit us up, man. We take care of your social media needs, take care of your Google ads, Facebook ads, website build, email marketing, text message marketing, and we do it all. And we work with small businesses. We work with multi-million-dollar businesses. So we have a little bit of everything for everybody. So if you need that, hit us up. We got you.
All right. So y'all heard it, Fresh Heir Social, full-fledged digital marketing service provider. And he's telling y'all, he said it a little earlier without really saying it, but he's saying, look, get in now because the price is gonna go up. So you better get in soon, get in at the early part because the price will go up. I guarantee you. He's definitely skilled, but Dario, I appreciate your time, man. I thank you for, just taking a moment to get with me and to talk through these things. I think the information that you shared is definitely inspiring and should help folks really see, the power of what it feels like to be an entrepreneur and just understanding the transition, the mindset. The nuggets that you shared is definitely good. And, the biggest thing I think we'll leave it with is, you have to get off the boat to walk on water. So,
yes, sir.
You got to do it. You got to jump. Steve Harvey said jump. Jay-Z said get off the boat. We saying, take that leap of faith and just get out there and do it. Have a plan, write it down, get a vision, set your goals, and march with it. And every day you work on something towards that and check it off, and you'll be that much closer to where you want to be. And that's really making money on autopilot. Like Dario said, he wakes up every day, looks at his phone, he's got notifications about money that's come in, and he makes his own schedule. He does what he wants to do. He's busy. Don't think that he just laying around all day eating cereal and watching cartoons. No, he's grinding, but he's doing it for himself and for his family. He's not on anybody else's schedule, but what it takes to make his business work. So, man, I'm proud of you, brother. Again, I appreciate it. We'll be talking soon because I'm pretty sure this is going to continue to grow. So I'm gonna have you back on here for when you get to that next level. So by that point, the price is going to be way high. So I'm really going to have to do some work to get you on the show next time. But
I'm on here anytime, man. The price is going up for everybody else though who listening.
All right.
Like I said, this is my first podcast. I had a few more lined up to do over the next month and a half, but I may have to make sure I got on this one first. So I definitely appreciate the time.
Hey man, I get the exclusive, so that's cool. I get the first shot at the big shot. So I appreciate that, brother.
Man, we got to come up with our own line. And Jay-Z got to get off the boat to walk on water. We're gonna have to.
Hey, we got to collaborate, man. We do something on that. See, and y'all don't know. We didn't mention this. You know, Dario also has Fresh Air clothing, which he's not actively working on just pursuing the Fresh Air Social and getting that to where it needs to be. But you know, the Fresh Air, that whole piece was what inspired me to do Billionaire Flow. You know, well, inspired me to do a clothing line because I was like, that's really nice. So him, another one of our people, Brandon, did melanin, and I'm like, man, that's really dope. And that's something I wanted to do. And so I got inspired. I said, God, you know, give me a name that's catchy. And he said Billionaire, but with the air. And I was like, okay. So Dario got Fresh Air, I got Billionaire. And I was like, man, that's dope. But yeah, you know, we definitely got to collaborate. We both have clothing lines. You know, I know he's gonna get that back going again because it's definitely has some dope pieces on his clothing line. So we definitely got to collaborate on that. So yeah, we're gonna network that for sure. I think that's a good idea.
I had to put it on pause for a second to get this running, but I got to get back to it. That's where I let my creative juices flow. So
yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, well, y'all might see a Fresh Air Billionaire collaboration coming up real soon. So, all right, sir. Well, again, Dario, appreciate your time, man. Have a blessed day. Tell your wife hello, and I pray that everything is going well, and you know, continue to succeed, man. And thank you for being an inspiration.
Man, I appreciate the opportunity, man. We'll be on here again soon.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Take care.
All right, you too.
All right, bye. Well, everybody, that is going to wrap up another episode of the Heir Flow podcast. Again, I want to thank my guest, Andario Howard of Fresh Air Social, digital marketing firm, for stepping in and sharing the words of wisdom. As you guys heard, Brother Dario is definitely got a good story, shared some great nuggets about entrepreneurship. And he's just a very solid guy, you know, very solid brother. He's a giver. He's a family man. And as you heard, you know, he's definitely continuing to build upon his entrepreneurial empire. So, you know, if you have a business, you know, no matter how big or small, definitely give him a call if you want to grow your digital presence. In this age, you'll see there's a huge transfer that's taking place, and technology is part of that wealth transfer. And, you know, being able to put your business online, it's going to be vital to that. So, you know, definitely hit him up. As he said, you can reach him at freshairsocial.com. It's the website. You can also check him out at Andario Howard on Instagram. And he's also on Facebook, www.facebook.com/freshairsocial. So definitely hit him up. You know, you can set up a consultation with him if you go to the website. And he'll be more than happy to walk you through, you know, some of the things that him and his company can do for your business, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed. I just want to continue to encourage you all to listen, you know, share these broadcasts, subscribe. You know, if you know somebody else that is interested, or maybe, you know, talking about some of these topics, and they want to be a part of this community, definitely point them this direction. You can subscribe and follow us on different podcasting platforms. We're on Apple Music. We are also on Google Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeart. So we're on all the major podcast platforms. Or you can just simply go to www.airflowpodcast.com, and there you can catch all these episodes as well. But, you know, I thank you all for supporting the community. I just ask you again to, you know, continue to share, continue to send feedback. If you would like to send feedback to me, you know, those that have my personal information, definitely reach out. If you want to reach out via email, you can email me at airflowpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's airflowpodcast, HEIR podcast @gmail.com. So airflowpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget the flow, please. But definitely reach out. I would love to hear, you know, some feedback. If there's anything that I can do, again, my goal is to continue to make this better and better as I get more experience in doing the podcast. But I'm definitely appreciating the love and support that I've received, and I've gotten some great feedback that has allowed me to look at shifting some things and just making the show even more informative so that way folks can create their inspiration and continue to flow in being the heirs that you were created to be. And that's the purpose of this podcast. That's what this podcast is about. And it's about a community of people who are thinking like-minded, moving in the same direction, and really wanting to maximize what they were created to be and who they were created to be, I should say. So again, just thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Heir Flow podcast. Again, I'm your host, Rickey Thomas. And just remember, you were created to flow. So flow on.